Hello everyone. So this week we're on episode 3, I believe, for our Black Sheep temperature blanket along. And I very boringly have the same color as my episode 1. So the first week, my Wednesday was 42 degrees. My second week we were at 57 because that was a crazy jump. My third week we're at 45 degrees, and today is actually a cold day. It's tied for the coldest day that we've had in January and so far this year, which is yet another 19 degrees on a Thursday in January. So yeah, 19 degrees is not fun. I kind of wish that it had occurred yesterday though, because that would have made it a lot more interesting in my blanket. But I'm going to go back to my chart o' colors, and I will be using the blue screen of death again to make my week 3 pattern. So I'm going to flip the camera down. We'll take a look at the pattern I have chosen for this week, and then I'll get started and I'll show you how to make it. And just as a reminder, I do have in-depth videos on how to do all of the patterns that we're currently working on my Kelly Slack Designs YouTube channel. I made them several years ago for this specific blanket along, and as we get into new patterns later in the year, then I will be making very intricate, in-depth videos that I will probably post to both Black Sheep and my Kelly Slack Designs YouTube channels, just so no matter which one you are on, although you could follow both, you'll make sure that you get the information for how to work those. And this is a good time to mention, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel and you are doing the blanket along, whether it's knitted, crocheted, tatted, woven, embroidered, whatever it is, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss a video. So I'm going to turn this down and we will take a look at my week 3 choice for my pattern. Okay, so here we are at our Black Sheep temperature blanket along page, and I do have to say thanks Danielle for putting this together. Now I did go ahead and I added my needle size on here so that I don't forget that I am using a US 3, and I'd write down that I'm using my Mian cotton, and I decided on my Wednesdays. So Wednesday's high temperature is my quote-unquote day that I am using. And because, again, I had a boring Wednesday where my Wednesday was 42, then 57, now we're back to 45, so that still falls over here within my blue screen of death colorway. I went ahead and grabbed that guy and my needles. And then I took a little look at the squares I haven't done yet, because of course we've only done 2. So I still have plenty of squares left to pick from on our blanket along. And remember, if you are looking for this PDF, it is in the Facebook group, or you can pop me a message and I will send it to you. It's Kelly with an I at symbol Black Sheep, ATORENCO.com. And I will send you this PDF because I have updated it quite a bit. And there's some fun things out there, but I thought this week maybe I would work on my filigree. I've been in a very lacy mood lately, so why not? We'll do this week's square in some lace, and it'll be all kinds of fun. So let's get started. All right, as we usually do, I like to kind of read through what I have written for my pattern here for my square. So we're going to cast on 31 with color number 504 Iced Gem. And of course we are ignoring all of the color guidelines in here because, again, this was for a very different, where'd I put it? A very different, see if I've got it here. There we go. Yarn than what we're using. We're using Mian cotton. We are not using that Erica Knight Gossypium cotton, so we're just going to ignore that because what we really want to do is focus in on the whatever yarn we're using. If you have chosen something a little bit different, heavier, lighter, whatever, the key here is really just to know your own gauge, because the goal is squares or the same sized rectangles. So all that really matters is that your squares and or rectangles are as close to the same size as possible. And because we are doing a little bit of lace, and I also have I've got some cables in here as well. You do have to take into account that cables will eat more yarn, of course, make your square skinnier, and your lace is going to open up a little more, so make your square a little wider. which just means that you will need to maybe slightly account for, well, for what you're doing with your square. So I'm going to cast on 31 stitches, and then it says to follow my chart. Repeat the stitches between the red lines, and remember I have a black and white copy, but I know that these thick lines right here are my pattern repeat, and then I will repeat the entire chart 3 times before I bind off. And it's probably going to be true. I do always make sure that I try to knit these as square as possible, and you may find that you'll have to do a couple of extra rows and or bind off a little early if your gauge is not the same as mine, which, let's be honest, it probably isn't. All right, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and cast on. Now that I have my 31 stitches cast on, I need to follow my chart. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just slip a stitch. So let's slip a stitch. Okay, and then we are going to do a purl 1, 2. Get this up here. And then this is a slip, slip, knit. Now do remember, you can of course use the written directions because I include both the written directions and the chart. Or you can just use the chart, which is what I'm doing. And then we are going to, let's see, knit 1, 2, 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, 2, 3. Knit 2 together, and then put that purl stitch in. And so we've gone through that pattern repeat from the chart once. We're going to go back and repeat it. And uh-oh, looks like I have 1 stitch left over. So now I need to count and see if I cast on too many stitches, which is highly likely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31. Yep, I cast on 1 too many, and I am going to cheat. I'm going to cheat just like this, and I'm going to take these last 2 stitches, and if I can get it done. Yes, I can. I'm going to knit them together. Haha! Now I have 31 stitches. Yes, it is okay to cheat. I do this all the time. I cheat all the time. All right, so I have repeated the stitches between my red lines 2 times. And now I'm going to turn my work around, and I'm just going to slip 1, and I'll purl 2 and knit, what's this? Sorry, knit 2 and then purl 11 and then knit 2 again. So I'll just kind of repeat that all the way across, and then I will end with a purl 1. Okay, so there are my first 2 rows, and I will continue in this vein. I don't think that there's anything particularly difficult in this pattern. It's just knits, purls, slip knits, knit two togethers, and yarn overs. So you should be pretty familiar with most of this. If you are a new knitter, even most of these quote-unquote difficult stitches are really not that hard. So of course, we'll do row 3 and talk through them. A slip knit, you slip the first as if to knit, slip the second as if to knit, put them both on your needle, and then knit both together. Then knit a couple of stitches. A yarn over is very easy. You just lay your yarn over the top of your needle. So sometimes called yarn forward, depending on where you're from. And then with a knit two together, you insert the tip of your needle through both the second and first stitch at the end of your needle. And then knit both together and pull those off. So fairly straightforward, and then we will maintain our purl stitches in the center. Sometimes when I do slip knits, when I put my stitches back on my needle, I don't put them on like this. I actually put them on so that my left needle tip is in the front and my right needle tip is in the back, so that I can just go ahead and knit both of those together, because you're going to go through the back loop anyway. So that's my slightly time-saving tip on that one. And then, see, knit two togethers are, well, they're just pretty straightforward. So if you are doing a lace, a sharper needle is often your friend, because it makes it much easier to stab through your stitches when it comes right down to it. So anyway, yeah, you just keep following the pattern. We're going to repeat the entire chart 3 times and then bind off, or thereabouts. You're just trying to get to a square. So I'm going to go pop out and knit this, and then I'll be back. All right, I am all done with my 3rd square. So here it is. That's the filigree from page 3. And I did go ahead and do 3.5 repeats of my chart instead of 3 repeats of my chart, because I needed it to be a little bit bigger. So there's a little change. And again, that is totally fine. And Marshmallow has now joined me. Hello, Marshmallow. Goodbye, Marshmallow. So anyway, you may find that you need to do just a few more rows of certain patterns in order to make it kind of square. But that'll be entirely dependent on what you need to do for your squares with your gauge and your yarn. So anyway, that is our episode 3 for our Blanket Along for 2022. And I just want to remind everybody that if you are looking for supplies of any kind, to please go check out blacksheepfiberemporium.com. Tell your friends about our fun Blanket Along. I don't care when you start it. You can start it in June. You can start it in May. You can go and do like a historical year that's important to you. It doesn't really matter. Just start whenever you want and have fun with it. I really think that doing this 1 square a week is a good fit for me. And I'm also enjoying doing my little motifs, my daily motifs for my tatting blanket version. So anyway, and yes, Marshmallow has jumped up here yet again. So hey, don't bite me, be nice. Anyway, so yeah, it's always fun around here, I have to say. I just want to remind you all to take care of yourselves, as I like to do. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and craftually. I know that just doing 15 minutes of crafting every day really helps my own mental health. And I know that it will help yours, because you are crafters too, if you happen to be watching this. And I also want to remind you to go ahead and take pictures of what you're working on and make sure that you are tagging that with hashtag Black Sheep Fiber Emporium and hashtag Black Sheep Pearly Shell, so that I can find what you're working on, so I can see the cool stuff that you're making, and so that I can enter you in our quarterly contest. So we're going to do a quarterly contest just for something. I don't even know what. But we'll try to match it to, whatever it is that what art you are doing, whether it's knitting or crochet or tatting or weaving or spinning or embroidery or sashiko, whatever you happen to be doing. Because we have all kinds of fun stuff at Black Sheep Fiber Emporium. So, we can help you out. Anyway, I have to run now, But I will be back with our episode 4 next week. So I will see you then. Please take care of yourselves and don't forget to subscribe to our Black Sheep Fiber Emporium YouTube channel. Make sure that you have followed and liked our Facebook page and that you are following us on TikTok as well as Instagram. We post fun things on all of those different social media outlets. So don't miss us and what we're doing. Make sure that you've followed us. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.